What would happen if a simple gesture, placed in the head by a lemon, could open an ancient door to invisible realities, not just as a metaphor, but as a true passage, a hidden portal between the universal and the sacred? Since time immemorial, the sciences of the East and the mystics of the desert have spoken of an eye that does not look outward, but inward. An eye without a pupil, without grains, but with a clear and profound vision. The third eye, this point exactly in the center of the chest, is not a modern esoteric invention, but an energetic center known in ancient traditions as the control center. Controls not muscles, but visions. It does not move the body, but guides the soul. And here comes an unexpected element: the pot. Yes, that hot specialty that produces sweets and sheep powder. But did you know that in ancient alchemy, the pot was seen as fire in vegetal form? Its aroma penetrates, its oil activates, and when pressed against the skin, it creates a slight vibration that energizes poor areas of the energetic body. In Ayurvedic medicine and certain Egyptian rituals, the intuitive mass was activated and psychic channels were opened. So, what happens when you use the pot directly between the breasts with conscious will and breath? Is it just a delicious sensation or the key to a greater mystery? In this video, we will explore an ancient and forgotten practice that connects the body and mind, the third eye channeling ritual. We'll explore how the spirit, simple yet mysterious, can elevate the center of inner vision, opening doors to intuition and connecting with subtle planes of consciousness. We'll discuss the symbolism of light fire, the eye that sees without sight, and the sacred breath that surrounds the body like a temple of recognition. We'll also understand the spiritual and philosophical context of this practice, how it functions energetically, and offer tips for teaching it with respect, intention, and depth throughout your day. Because sometimes the greatest secrets aren't hidden in ancient books, but in the aromatic fabric of a simple delicacy placed between the eyes. Are you ready to open this door? Since the dawn of human thought, the point between the pectoral teeth has been viewed as something more than a simple body. Ancient civilizations saw it not as an anatomical region, but as a spiritual doorway, a place where the soul receives no words, no eyes, and no truths except logic. Vedic scholars called this point Ajna, the chakra of command, because they believed it originated from the higher impulses of the lake. The Egyptians called it the Eye of Horus, a symbol of the balance between intuition and calculation, heaven and earth. For the Taoists, this point was an antenna of Shun, the pure spirit whose activation required more than meditation, requiring the rituals of living substances. One of them has always been a key ingredient in the rituals of miracles, purification, and activation: the jug. Today we know it as a cooking ingredient, but in the past its use was primarily spiritual. The Bible mentions the jug as one of the sacred ingredients of the miraculous olive, used by the prophets to open the saints and the channels of divine communion. In ancient China, the pot, especially the Sina Momen pot, was a young element capable of elevating not only the body but also the spirit. Why the pot? Because its fire doesn't burn, but rather elevates. The pot vibrates at a delicate frequency that stimulates the energetic meridians without damaging them. When placed on the neck, exactly at the center of the third eye, its warm weight rests on the auric field, creating a sense of opening. It's not the high solar heat, but the calm solar heat. Finished, but beautiful. Energetically, the third eye requires clarity to function. Clarity is not the intention of darkness, but rather the presence of inner vision. Many modern practices focus on meditation to open the ajna, but the oldest traditions knew that there are natural tools that aid this process. The pot is not a drug or a miraculous substance, but a message of spiritual fire. In the schools of the mysterious Mittelos, it was spoken of as the fire of the eye that never sleeps. To stop him, beginners taught hot eyes and special rituals that combined edge, breath, and vision. The steady fire was important. If he was too strong, he would bring fire and strike the channel. When it was weak, it didn't cause change. The jug became the symbol of balance, the fountain between matter and spirit, between the physical and the perfect vision. So, what is a simple gesture like putting a jug in the head is actually an echo of ancient texts of enlightenment. It's not superstition, but a forgotten spiritual technology in which body, intention, and plants work together to create the deepest dimensions of being. The third eye doesn't open strongly or respond to the formulas. It blooms like spring flowers. When the environment is right, the soul is ready, and a calm presence strikes from within. In this sense, placing a pot in the head is not just a surprise, but an alchemical act, a silent invocation of the inner fire. The key lies in the connection of three elements: place, substance, and intention. Each has power, but together they exert a force that transcends the physical. 1. The square. The third eye, the gateway to spiritual vision. Located between the breasts, the centro-agnia, agnia centro, is not just an energetic region, but a multidimensional asset. It is where the currents of the autonomic nervous system and the pineal gland are located. A small gland considered by many ancient sciences to be the home of the soul. From an esoteric perspective, the third eye is a portal not for another world being, but for a deeper form to perceive. When activated, perspective expands. Intuitions become freer, thoughts clearer, and decisions more closely aligned with inner truth. But the agnia needs warmth, not aggressive, but vibrant. 2. The substance. The jug as a transmitter of scientific warmth. The pot isn't just an aromatic specialty. On an energetic level, it's a vegetal fragrant. When used on the skin, especially between the breasts, it causes a slight warming sensation. This warmth isn't just a joke. It activates the microcirculation, stimulates the nervous system, and most importantly, raises awareness in this area. The human brain reacts immediately to every new sensory stimuli. When one feels the hot pain of the pot, one's humanity focuses on the third eye, and where attention goes, energy follows. This is one of the fundamentals of energetic work. The pot functions as a guide, bringing attention to the sacred limit, which, due to untruth, has remained dormant. 3. The intention, the fidget that transforms the gesture into a ritual. No place, no substance has an effect without a clear intention. The energy responds to the thought that directs it. Therefore, the moment in which the pot is used must be one of calm, presence, almost a ceremony. It's not just about putting something into your head, but also about moving the portal of the soul with fire and intention. One can follow the gesture with a nuanced perception, as if this fire is elevating my inner vision, that what I didn't see before is being revealed. In that moment, the gesture becomes a vibrational sign. You create a micro-ritual, a symbolic act full of power, like an alchemist mixing ingredients to enable change. You create matter, a pot, energy, heat, and consciousness, intention. That's where the magic begins. The third eye responds not with logic, but with vibratory coherence. And this combination orients the practitioner toward his goal. The third eye responds not with a sudden explosion, but like a fire burning from within. The first effect many report after the practice is a slight sensation of pressure or pulsation in the center of the chest. This awareness is not imaginary. It is the activation of the pineal gland by external stimuli, heat, aroma, attention, and the flow of energy direction. The pineal gland, this small, brush-shaped gland, lies directly behind the point where the pot is used and is inverted by a capillary system, highly sensitive to temperature changes and mild electrical stimuli. When activated, it releases tears of dimethyltryptamine, DMT, a substance that induces vivid dreams, widespread recognition, and spontaneous mystical experiences. Although the pineal gland doesn't cause a psychic journey, it can open up recognition of something symbolic, silent, and highly archetypal. Light sightings, clearer intuitions, and increased synchronicity arise. Reality seems more connected. What was once competition now sounds like news. What was once mental noise becomes a flow of images and meanings. It's as if the soul, having realized that it has been limited, has opened its secret chambers. On the other hand, this awakening isn't always comfortable. The third eye is also the eye of truth. And when it opens, it doesn't filter what you see to make you feel good. It opens, draws, illuminates. That is, old blocks, repressive emotions, or false beliefs that obscure your recognition. Therefore, the teeth have an additional function. It not only activates, it supports. Its warm and sweet quality slows down growth. It's not the same to simply open the eye with a colder mental technique as it is to do so with an element that benefits, shakes, and balances. The teeth are fire that doesn't destroy, but tempers. It is the layer that glows without teeth. Another important point is the body's response. Some say that after the practice, breathing becomes deeper, as if the body is tuning into the new frequency. Others say that one has more vivid dreams, old memories return, like bits of a headbreaker, or even an urgent desire to write, create, or contemplate. The eye that sees also inspires. If you look further, creative centers emerge. Dormant ideas, paths you weren't allowed to follow, emerge. But this only happens when the process is respected. If it's done automatically, without will or calm, the ritual loses its power. The most important thing is to encounter a sacred symbol with a vibrant substance of the ancient fire. It's not about causing phenomena, but about opening space so that something great can happen. And when that happens, you're no longer the same. When you awaken your inner eye, you no longer walk in the dark. Even with your eyes closed, you see better than ever. In other words, activate the third eye with a crunchy pressure and pure will. We're not talking about a magical formula to escape the world, but rather a subtle way to experience it with greater clarity. Spiritual vision isn't about flying far, but about swimming deep into what's already there and seeing it with new eyes. Therefore, the true power of this practice lies in spreading it from the time of the ritual throughout your entire life. Here are some tips to ensure that this flame doesn't ignite the first time, but rather creates a turbine that illuminates your path day after day. 1. Don't make the ritual part of a busy routine. Many people pursue the practice out of habit, without presence, but the third eye responds not to repetition, but to awareness. Each time you use the pot, pause for a moment, breathe, and focus your attention on the intermediate step, as if you were holding a temple. Incorporate not only the specialty, but also your soul into the gesture. 2. Integrate the practice into meditation. After using the pot, feel at peace. Observe. Don't absorb any visions and don't expect great effects. The science of ajna is more like breakfast than an explosion. Allow the feelings to arise without judgment. When an image comes, receive it. When there is silence, hear it. Meditate with the third eye activated, observing not only your practice but also your attention, like a vibrating chain. 3. Notice what the vision reveals in your day-to-day. The third eye isn't just helpful for mystical experiences. Its awakening is understood in the way the other person sees it. Recognize norms in your history, connect invisible strands in a conversation or decision. Stay tuned to your intuition after practice. Give it a voice. Your vision will become clearer when you trust it. 4. Use the pot with respect and attention. You don't need a large amount. Just a small sip, in water or oil, is enough. The idea isn't to irritate the skin, but to awaken awareness of the point. The practice should be an energetic welcome, not a physical coincidence. Every body reacts differently, so listen to yours. 5. Cleanse your channel on all levels.